What's up, guys? It's Primetime Poulton with me, main event McNulty. It's the Pod God's Christmas special. What's going on?
I I am so excited. You don't understand. I've been waiting for this all day long. I have my nice wrestling holiday sweater. I made sure to get my fancy bow tie here. I am all and a little holiday cheer with some alcoholic eggnog. So I am ready for the best show we've ever had. I am so excited for today. For everyone tuning in, you are in for a treat today. Hang with us. We have so many special prizes in store.
You're definitely in the festive spirit. I dig it, Phil. I love the outfit. You look great.
Thank you. I'm life is good, wrestling is good. I've got a huge MF present right next to me. I'm ready to break that boy open. So it's exciting stuff today.
So before we get into the wrestling talk, last Friday, just a few days ago, big announcement. I finished fulfilling U.S. Assassin 2, but we announced U.S. Assassin 3. Oh, look at there. You got some U.S. Assassin in your hands.
I am so you want to talk about high quality art, high quality package. I love this thing. I know this is like a special gift, but we're talking about US Assassin. People, when cons open up, you better go to these shows and you better pick this up if you don't have it yet because it is awesome.
Hey, you can still go to Indiegogo. The in-demand store's open. Get volumes 1 and 2 before the highly anticipated volume 3, featuring the Mercenary Flip Gordon. In fact, I have a special video to share to get people hype. Hear it fine, Phil?
I'm the Mercenary Flip Gordon. And I'm joining the U.S. Assassins team.
Yeah, this is U.S. Assassin. They bout the action, ready to make it happen. Yeah, this is the elite government task force. Whole team is official. What more could you ask for? Yeah, this is U.S. Assassin. You don't want drama. If they pull up, they blasting. Monsters of the graveyard shift. You ain't never seen a squad quite like this. We got Bazooka Dog, and he don't cut no slack. A dog with a giant bazooka on his back. Slither is a reptilian, alien. 3 snakes for a tongue. You don't want to mess with him. Sensei Steel, who is so mysterious, martial artist and trainer. Swift with the kicks. Zero Face is a bad guy turned good. The Mercenary is a beast, get it understood. Takeout is a fast shooter, fast draw. Kirby is the Lone Ranger, but she hits hard. Lieutenant Rafe, second in command. Yes, indeed. Who's the brains of the team? A super ninja at the lead. Yeah, hey, this is U.S. Assassin. Yeah, this is U.S. Assassin. Let's go.
Woo! Put that shit on Spotify and go, my friend. I am going to have that song stuck in my head all day now.
Is that a hype video or what?
Yo, that Flip Gordon intro and dive spot, whoo, boy.
Yeah, man. He recorded that little opening for us. I really appreciate it. I had a great guy, Ted Zagaro. He edited my whole video together. He took a couple clips from Flip's Mercenary series over on YouTube, spliced it into that intro, and man, that video is absolute fire. Go over to Indiegogo, sign up for the mailing list. We're going to launch this book in spring of 2021. Everyone who signs up, they're going to get access to a secret discounted tier. For your all the Flip Gordon fans out there, you're going to want to get this tier. It's going to have a bunch of exclusive Flip Gordon merch. And I'm so excited for the future of U.S. Assassin, man.
This is, and of course, crossing over with Graveyard Shift, which which, as I always say, blows my balls off. It's so good. So it's Mark Poulton, hardest working man in comics today.
Thanks, Phil. So we got the shilling out of the way. Let's talk a little. I figured we'd talk a little Impact Wrestling. Then maybe you could open your gift. We
Yes.
talk a little AEW. Then I open my gift.
I think we should talk Impact first, and you open your gift.
See, here's the thing. I'm kind of worried that you got a better gift for me than I got for you. So then I'm gonna feel bad.
It's okay. It needs to be done. The people, stay tuned. No, stay tuned after our Impact watching. You are not gonna want to miss Primetime's gift. You're not gonna want to miss it. So stay tuned for for our Impact recap, and then we're gonna go with Primetime's gift.
All right, so let's oh man, I am really anxious to see what this is. You're really building it up.
Oh, it's one of the best things I've ever thought of.
All right, so Impact Wrestling starts off Tennille Dashwood versus Alicia Edwards. They both have their men with them. Caleb with a K for Tennille. Eddie Edwards, the heart and soul of Impact Wrestling, with his wife Alicia. Impact is not treating the Edwards right. At the pay-per-view, they lost to Tennille and Caleb with a K. The Edwards continue their losing ways. Alicia loses to Tennille Dashwood. This just isn't right. This doesn't sit well with me, Phil.
This has been the oddest, weirdest booking I have to think of in a while. I don't know what they're doing with Eddie Edwards. Alicia's been awesome. Like, I love the ride or die mentality, and I don't know. It just is mind boggling.
Yeah, after the match, Sami Callihan comes on the screen. He challenges Eddie Edwards. Says they're going to fight forever. So they're gonna face off at the next pay-per-view. And actually, I think it's like an Access special.
Mm-hmm.
Genesis, maybe. I can't remember. But next up, we get the Motor City Machine Guns backstage doing a promo talking about how, they took out Triple XL, they took out the North, they're gunning for the Good Brothers. Chris Sabin's going to face Carl Anderson later tonight, and there's only room for one Machine Guns in Impact.
It's a good promo. I love the Motor City Machine Guns. We have our Poddies after it's a big full show. We have our Poddies after our AEW recap, and you might see the Motor City Machine Guns pop up in one of those awards we're giving out.
Yeah, you might even see him pop up twice. Who knows? But after that promo, we cut to Kenny Omega's bus. He's back for another week, and he's hanging out with Don Callis and Carl Anderson. And Carl Anderson does not like what Chris Sabin had to say. Kenny and Don get Carl all fired up. He's going to take out Sabin later tonight. I'm really enjoying Kenny Omega on Impact Wrestling.
Is it weird? Kenny's been booked more as a superstar on Impact than he has on AEW Dynamite. This is the perfect spot for Kenny Omega. I love it.
Yeah, no, it's not surprising to us who have been watching Impact Wrestling since the summer and realize it's the best show on TV today. Next up, we have Moose. Moose is talking about Willie Mack, talking about how he hates these independent pro wrestlers masquerading as security guards, putting his hands on him. Moose is just better than all these people, and he's sick of it.
You know how good Moose is? Moose is so good. He can take a little spot botch job, like the guy tore his button off of his suit, and he worked that in a promo, right afterwards. It was so good. Moose, this is heading one of two ways. This is heading him unifying the TNA Championship and Impact Championship, or it's leading towards him Rich Swann beating him to build him for Kenny Omega. Either way, Moose should win, and I would love to see Moose and Omega go at it.
Moose appears like he is the biggest star in Impact Wrestling.
Yes, he is, and he knows it, which is it's a nice thing, because if you've never seen it, like, again, this is their sort of retake with having Kenny on there again, and I think they did a much better job this week than last week. I think this was a nice little restart sort of button for Impact to get new viewers, and I'm excited.
So after Moose, we go backstage, and I really hated seeing this. We have Rohit and Chris Bay, which when we started watching Impact Wrestling back in the summer, these two guys were sort of married together in the X division. Chris Bay just came off main event push, challenged Rich Swann for the Impact World title. Now he's back in this loser X division. And it's still a division built around losers. Manic is your new X Division champion. TJP put the mask on like we had predicted, and he defeated Rohit at the last pay-per-view, the last Impact Plus special. And Chris Bay is basically telling Rohit, I have a match for the X Division non-title match. You come with me. You helped me win. I'm in line for the belt. Plus, you get a chance to put your hands on TJP, unmask him. And if you can unmask him, they'll have to give the belt back to you because TJP wasn't allowed to compete for the title. We've seen this before. You said it, Phil.
This is because what immediately followed this was fantastic. It was like, I think this is one of the lower parts of the show, followed by one of the higher parts of the show. And I was just like, I'm done with Chris Bay. I'm done with Rohit. I would be fine if they were never on my television again.
Yeah, so after this, we got another paid advertisement from Tony Khan with Tony Schiavone. These guys are great together. Schiavone's hilarious. Tony Khan is actually a great, great when he's healing it up. These are just fun promo spots.
I think when Tony Schiavone's like, when he said something like Access TV, I don't even know how to watch the show. It was
no one
hilarious.
Does.
It's so good. Tony Schiavone, I love Tony Khan. I think Tony Khan's an amazing shit heel. This is perfect for him.
Hey, man, what's up, Eddie? Thanks for watching. We are doing great. We are in the Christmas spirit, talking about pro wrestling. It's Christmas time. What could be better, man? And Eddie has an awesome book on Indiegogo right now called Sovereign Wolf. Phil, you have to check it out later.
I've seen the artwork. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, and he had a graveyard shift print earlier in the campaign that was free to all backers who backed early. So yeah, he gets the graveyard shift endorsement. Eddie's an awesome guy. So next up, we get these return of these prison vignettes with Eric Young, but now Cody Deaner's part of it. And I had predicted Cody Deaner was going to turn on Cousin Jake. He did just that. And he has aligned himself with EY, and I think he's going to get a makeover.
This is so good. This is phenomenal. This is what we talk about. Impact does it better than anybody. Take someone who's a comedy act or a jobber, you put story into them, they don't win right away, they have matches, they build up, a personality changes, boom, enter a storyline that makes it pop. It's just, it's such good booking. I can't even tell you.
Yeah, I mean, Cody Deaner really came to our attention during Wrestle House. I think he was one of the guys that really stood out with him sort of, hyping his cousin up, Cousin Jake, to go after what's her name?
Triple XL, Susie.
No, yeah, Susie. Sorry about that. I drew a blank. I know her as the Undead Bride now. But yeah, Cody Deaner's awesome. And I'm looking forward to this new serious take on him. Clearly, he's being paired up with cousin Jake something, and they're going to feud. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing if he gets a makeover. Maybe EY has the mask. Maybe Cody Deaner's going to get like a mask to wear to ring. It'd be pretty cool.
I think it's a good direction for the Deaners because the Impact Wrestling Tag Team division is so stacked that the Deaners are never going to sort of make their way through. So this is an excellent, when you need to split up a group, this is how you do it.
Yep. Well done. Match 2, Chris Bay with Rohit Raju versus Manic. This is non-title match. And, Chris Bay plays Rohit. Rohit falls for it. He can't help himself. He hops in the ring, gets a
shot on Manic.
Yeah. And Chris Bay, well, he ends up getting into it with Chris Bay because he figures out Bay's playing him. So Manic gets disqualified when he attacks Chris Bay. Chris Bay now earns an X Division title shot. This is terrible. This whole division has been terrible for 6 months. Give me a break. This is what I want for Christmas, Phil. I want Brian Myers as the X Division champion, and I want the return to TNA was built on the X Division. What we have going on right now is a disgrace.
It's until the X Division does something of note, I've got no comment.
All right, let's just move on to the next thing. All right, after that match, we have backstage segment with Josh Alexander and Ethan Page. Josh Alexander is fed up with Ethan Page, all his lies, saying he's going to make things right, and he's talking about Ethan Page is losing his mind.
I'm all aboard the Ethan Page bandwagon. When he said "we," did you you knew who it was, right? We've been prepped for this.
Yep. Anyone who is a fan of Ethan Page on Twitter or his YouTube vlog, which we'll probably talk about during the Poddies as well, knew who Ethan Page was talking about. Anyway, we're back on the bus with Kenny Omega. He calls Rich Swann his bitch. Strong words from Kenny Omega. I'm not disagreeing with him, though.
This is good. We know what's going to happen. Omega's going to take this Impact Championship, and it's going to be fantastic. And what I love is that they're taking their steps to build this. Like, Kenny Omega's coming back weekly. I'm just, I'm so happy. This is just little steps, and the ending is what pays it off.
Eddie, you are absolutely right. At this point, the X Division just needs to go away. It's terrible.
It's a division of losers built by losers, and until someone with a winning record comes and actually takes the belt, it's like we talk about the same thing. Rohit, jobber, got sped up, took the title. We don't believe it, and now TJP, who's been jobbed out, goes to Manic, and now we're supposed to believe he can grab it. No, just get the belt on Brian Myers. Merry Christmas, Primetime.
For a promotion that's been so good, this is like their one weak point, the X Division. But you already said you don't want to talk about it anymore. Let's talk about the knockouts. We have the knockout tag team tournament. We have Tasha Steelz, Kira Hogan against Taya Valkyrie and Rosemary. This was a good match, surprising finish, I thought, but I guess not really that surprising when you look at the women's division, the main event picture.
They made it was a surprising decision, but it was the right decision. It's building up their main event roster with the loss of Kylie Ray and sort of the Su Yung, mistake that sort of happened because they're trying to bring something back to the table. They needed to get their two main event players from the X division back up there, and Taya. That they're your cream of the crop. They look like stars. They act like stars. They talk like stars. Deonna Purrazzo, if we're gonna rebuild her to be that next top star, she's got to start defeating some of these top stars because we often think Jordynne Grace is the key, but for some reason she's thrown into this knockouts tag thing. So it's clear that they need to build Deonna Purrazzo up by actually having her defeat the main event stars, which are Taya and Rosemary.
So Tasha Steelz, Kiera Hogan, they get the win. They're advancing in the tag team tournament. Are they the favorites to win, or do you think they're going to go with Jordynne Grace and Jazz?
No, I think these are your winners. These two deserve it. They are so good backstage. They play Sasha Banks and Bayley better than Sasha. They play the Golden Role Models better than the Golden Role Models. This is how you build shit heels that do it in the ring. And they don't, they win by their own actions, and sometimes luck kind of helps them out. It's part of being a heel. I love it. These two are phenomenal. Keep up the great work, Impact.
Next up was Impact Wrestling's Christmas present to the both of us, a Johnny Swinger segment. Johnny Swinger stole the roll of cash. This roll of cash has been an ongoing storyline that at first, when it was involved with Hernandez, I could care less about it. But now that the Swingman is involved, I'm all on board.
When he's like, someone got rich at the pay station, Daddy, I was like, yes, go get it, Swingman.
He is an absolute treat. He may be in one of the categories is comeback wrestler of the year. The Swingman may be in contention. I don't want to give anything away, but
I'll tell you what, the Swingman for me personally was in a lot of possibly it was in contention for a lot of these things. Wrestler of the year, who knows?
All right, match 4: Josh Alexander versus Brian Myers. Ethan Page gets involved, gets knocked down. He falls out of camera view, and when he rises up, it's not Ethan Page, it's the Karate Man. And Karate Man attacks Brian Myers, causing the DQ. That's something I didn't like. 2 DQ matches when you only get maybe 4 or 5 matches in a episode of Impact. A little overboard, but I love the appearance of Karate Man. Karate Man is someone I've had my eye on for a long time. This is Ethan Page's homage to Bloodsport and all the awesome fighting movies of the late 80s or early 90s. I mean, I think Karate Man would make a perfect character for U.S. Assassin.
I was thinking, we need to get on the Karate Man hype train and start our own series with Ethan Page, starring the adventures of Karate Man, professional wrestler by day, vigilante Karate Man by night.
I'm all for it, man. I'll reach out to him if you want. We can pitch that.
Let's go do it.
You guys heard it here first. Breaking news.
We're gonna try to get Ethan Page on our side and on the show.
So we get more of the prison vignettes with EY and Cody Deaner. We basically talked about this. Deaner's going full heel. He's becoming a new person. I really like this. EY would say something, Cody Deaner would repeat it. It was kind of eerie, kind of spooky. I liked it.
It's attitude. Like I say this often with Impact, but it's true. It's Attitude Era-esque storyline telling. Like they find something. They are the #1 company since COVID to say we're going to make professional wrestling like interesting. They didn't see COVID as a sort of as this thing that's it's going to kill us. They thought of it as this is going to make us go think outside the box and take a lot of risks. And their risks have paid off tenfold. I mean, They've introduced characters on Wrestle House. They introduced a murder mystery with Who Shot Johnny Bravo. We've had Wrestlers Court. Like, it's made wrestling fun, and it makes you want to watch the matches and stay for what follows. And that's what's great about wrestling. When the wrestling is good and the backstage storylines are even better, it just makes the whole 2 hours just fly by like that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It's main event time now. The Machine Gun Carl Anderson takes on Chris Sabin. The Machine Gun, he's a heel. He cheats. He gets the win. The Machine Guns aren't happy about it, but Rich Swann, he's not happy about it either. He sticks his nose in it and starts reading Carl Anderson, the Riot Act. Anderson just blows him off, but Rich Swann follows him backstage, and bam! The big LG shows up.
This is just so good. This is so good because then we get the machine guns going in, and it turns into like this 3-on-2 situation, and Big LG's fighting people off. Carl Anderson just wrestled a match. He's getting beat up, and then we get another one. Boom. Who else, Primetime?
Kenny Omega, the Thanos of wrestling. He's here to collect the Impact World title, and he lays out Rich Swann with like a wet floor sign right over the head. Boom, knocks him out. And this was great.
A little nod to the cleaner persona. He gets the wet floor mop like sign and just bashes him. And the way he looks with the shirt unbuttoned, right? Just cutting his promos, like you can tell he's been waiting to be back to Kenny Omega for a while. Like, it makes the long-term storytelling pay off so well because Kenny is like, you know what? I put people over, but now it's my time to shine. And we've been waiting for this for over a year, and I don't think we can be happier. And I can't believe it's on Impact. What's making it even better? It's on our favorite wrestling show.
So it ends with the challenge, the Super Elite, Kenny Omega, the Good Brothers. They're going to take on Rich Swann and the Motor City Machine Guns at Hard to Kill, an Impact Wrestling pay-per-view. How awesome is this?
This match is gonna be fire. It's gonna be CIP coming pants worthy match. Getting the almost the OG Bullet Club, the real my favorite Bullet Club with with Guns and Gallows and Omega, just 3 badass assassins who are just gonna kick your ass. And then you have the High Flyers. Like, we may talk shit about Rich Swann as his persona, but in the ring he can go. And we know the Motor City Machine Guns are top 5 tag team on the planet right now. This match is going to be so good, and I cannot wait for this pay-per-view. They sold me a ticket.
Yeah, no, it's going to be awesome. So that is our Impact Wrestling review. Is it gift time now?
It is gift time.
So what do I need to do? Do I need to share my screen with the
just like your US Assassin video, I want you to do the same thing with mine. The little present I gave you basically said, let me share my screen, but I didn't know how to do it. I said, you know what, let's go do your way. You're the man behind the controller.
All right, so I'll have to click on the link. It'll take me somewhere, and I'll
all right, you got it.
Close it out so I don't see it, all right? And then I'll share the screen.
All right, you got it.
I didn't look, Phil.
That's fine. That's fine. I changed the thumbnail to be a surprise.
All right. Start camera. No. Here we go. I gotta share my screen. All right.
Mizark, Primetime Poulton, Swingman here, wishing you the happiest Christmas since the Iron Sheik stretched Bobby Backlund in MSG. Strap on a fanny pack full of gimmicks, of course, and rock around the Christmas tree. And make sure you call the office and get the Swingman booked for lay pod gods. And make sure you get a patent on that name so Jericho doesn't steal it from you, Daddy.
Oh my God. That was amazing. Phil, if you were here, I'd kiss you.
I was so hyped for that present forever. And I've just been waiting because now we can get the Swingman booked.
I love it, man. Thank you.
Quite welcome. It was the best money I've ever spent in my life, for real. I was like, you know what? Let me give it a shot. Let me give it a shot. And the Swingman, like he always does, delivers.
Yeah. Oh, that was fantastic, man. Thank you.
No problem. I have the video. I'm gonna send you the link so you can download it yourself, and you can always keep that for you forever.
Okay. So you gave me a bag. Was that a red herring?
That was a red herring. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the bag just said, "Let me share my screen" on there, but
Okay.
I didn't want to mess it up on our live stream,
Yeah.
and I knew we had a later start to have more viewers, so I was like, I'm gonna have you run it.
Man, that is awesome. Thanks so much.
No problem.
Do you want to just open your gift now, and then
Yeah.
we'll go into AEW?
Yeah, let's go to it. So this is the giant present like I got when I drove up to Mark's house the other day, right? So I'm like, what is this? It feels like an old school wrestling ring, like the figures that I've had when I was a kid. So it's 2 main event from Primetime. Let's get this rocking and rolling. Oh my goodness. We're gonna have the first ever pape on here. This thing's massive. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's the officially licensed, well, unofficial licensed, the Pod Gods ring. We're gonna have those AEW figures wrestle first on the Pod Gods. We're gonna have our Impact, first ever Impact Fantasy action figure matchup on this the Pod Gods ring. Thank you so much, Mark. This is the brass ring. This is like what Vince says to grab. Thank you so much, dude. I love it.
Oh, you're welcome. I knew you had gotten into the wrestling figure collecting. You got your Jericho, you got your Hangman. So you needed a ring for him. I bought the AEW ring and then customized it for you. So enjoy.
I love it. I can't wait. Thank you so much, Primetime.
Oh, you're welcome. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to you, brother.
Thank you. You ready to talk some AEW?
Yeah, let's get on to some AEW. All right. So we open up with the highly anticipated match. Thank you, Eddie. Yes, it's a one-of-a-kind exclusive. Just like Kenny Omega, I'm all about the collecting the exclusives. So the first match of the night hangs out with Cowboy Party versus Hardy Party. It's the team of Hangman Page versus the Dark Order, Silver and Reynolds versus Matt Hardy and Private Party. Good matchup. I think it's funny to see how Silver and Reynolds have become faces. They've turned the tide. Matt Hardy is slowly into his heel turn, and that gets that storyline continues when Private Party hits the gin and juice, only for Matt Hardy to tag himself in and score the win.
Yeah, I was so invested in this match. I so want Hangman to be part of the Dark Order. I feel like after the year he's had, he needs the Dark Order. The Dark Order needs him. I just want him to. It's the Christmas season. I want him to have friendship.
Right, and if you've not watched Being the Elite plays this up so much. It's the first time you've seen like Hangman have fun in a while, and it's something like we've said forever. BTE skits should be on Dynamite. That whole gunslinger fake thing, and you just see him go pew 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 pew, but then cuts to like the special effect, the gun sounds and everything. And I think that sold me on the match more than anything.
Yeah, speaking about Being the Elite, this week's episode was probably the best episode in maybe 2 years. I mean, it's been great since it started featuring the Dark Order more, but this episode was probably like on par with like the old Bullet Club stuff. It was just so well done. Even like the stuff with Kaz, with the Christmas ghosts and everything. It was just amazing.
Trent, with a question mark, that's your thing? But again, Frankie Kazarian, like you said, has shown so much personality on BT that they got to let him bring it to the main show. Next up, we have the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes with Arn Anderson versus Angelico with Jack Evans of the Hybrid the Hybrid 2. It was what it is. Rhodes defeats Angelico, but really the big story comes afterwards with Team Taz coming out, only to be sort of shaken away by Sting.
Yeah, I love seeing Sting. He's after Roddy Piper, my all-time favorite wrestler. And I love Team Taz. I just don't. I feel like Sting. Maybe they're building to him and Jericho because you feel like that has to be like the payoff to Sting coming in. I mean, Jericho carries the bat, but at the same time,
Pardon me.
Cody is a big Stinger growing up, so he wants Phil's dying here. Everyone, La Pod God's exclusive.
Oh my goodness! I got so excited because I was about to comment.
Yeah,
I didn't see the bat thing coming,
uh-huh.
and I ended up choking on my drink.
So I feel like it's kind of weird to use Sting in this feud with Cody and Team Taz, but maybe this is just the first of many storylines for Sting. I'm hoping anyway.
I think it's a lot of fan service to Cody, who's been on record talking about how Sting is like his favorite wrestler. So, I'm wondering, but Hook looks like a damn good wrestler.
Hook looks awesome, man. He looks like a badass. I want to talk about Angelico. You're kind of sleeping on him. By far, he has one of my favorite entrances in all of wrestling. He has like this the Angelico dance. It's over with me. I love it.
I just can't get into it. I don't know what to think about it. Always.
Yeah. I feel like this match did do like a great service to Angelico. It really played up his submission wrestling and MMA background. So I could see. I don't know the Hybrid 2. They just sort of kind of gotten the short end of the shaft in AEW. It's just like that. It's the best tag division in all of wrestling. It's the best tag division since 80s WWF. So they're kind of lost in the shuffle. So, if you want to, give Angelico a singles run, maybe he could be the next Ricky Starks and, light up AEW Dark.
Let's get over on BTE first.
Okay.
All right. So next up, we had Eddie Kingston address his enemies, turned into a fanfare of chicanery, if you will, with Lance Archer coming out, Lucha Bros coming out, Death Triangle, the whole Butcher and Blade. Everyone's coming out on this one.
Phil, you're dying, man. Eddie Kingston is such a good speaker that, I'll even watch this feud. Lance Archer, I feel like should have been primed for bigger things when he was introduced. Once I feel like he lost to Cody, and then he lost to Moxley. Now he's feuding with Eddie Kingston, who's the manager. I mean, he's a good wrestler in his own right, but basically he's the manager of Butcher and Blade. So I don't know. It could be better.
I did like the white uniform of the bunny coming out.
Oh,
with
yeah.
Butcher and the Blade because you're the one who started it. Butcher and Blade need to be in the white getup always.
Absolutely.
So next up, we sort of had a promo before
Eddie liked my dancing.
Oh, the Angelico challenge.
It started here.
So before our 12-man tag team matchup, which included the new Inner Circle, Sans Wardlow, against Best Friends, Top Flight, and Varsity Blondes. Before that, we got MJF having his time. Some legit award for like best performances of 2020, which went to both Jericho and MJF. But for the storyline purposes, they're scrubbing Jericho out of it to seem like it's all MJF.
Yeah, no, this was fun. This was a fun match too, except the whole time I was just thinking, where's Wardlow? He's my favorite member of Inner Circle.
I think he had some family issue, which is why Brandon Cutler got cut out. But that atrocious F10 by Hager,
Hager.
right? Because you could tell during the match, Hager tried to hit that F10, but I think he spun him the wrong way, and it fell behind him.
Yeah,
it was a bit of a cluster. Did you expect anything good from a 12-man tag match?
no, it was just basically a way to I think get a lot of people on TV and reignite the feud between Best Friends and Santana and Ortiz. But as far as the match goes, not very good.
It's amazing because Jericho was up there for like almost my star of the year for Wrestle of the Year, just because I'm not a Jericho mark, but all the things that he does so positive. But
yeah,
this whole MJF, thing, it feels like it's killing the luster, and I think it's supposed to. It's killing the luster of Jericho. It's turning him into like a whiny, because his theme song is getting over. So like I think this is a way to sort of push sort of Jericho to the side so we can root for him when he eventually makes that face turn. But I don't know, it's just confusing as I was thinking to myself, where's Wardlow?
Yeah.
So next up, we had SCU versus the Acclaimed. Let me ask you, what do you think of the Acclaimed?
So I didn't realize until I watched BTE, but they're basically John Cena's first two gimmicks. It's true. Bowens is the trunks and the boots and trunks guy. And Max Caster is the thug rapper. I didn't realize that until the Young Bucks called him the John Cena guys.
Ruthless aggression. Yeah,
that being said, I really like them. We watched Bowens a bunch of times when we went to Wrestle Pro, and I know Max Caster, Platinum Max, was trained by Brian Myers, so he has to be good. His dad used to play for the New York Jets, by the way, Richard Caster. So I like them, and I like that they're giving them a victory over a big team like SCU. And you were talking about Kaz's personality. I think we're starting to see it now. We're going to see it when him and CD, Chris Daniels, break up, I think.
Yeah, I think, and just like we talked about Impact's tag team division being so good, we get another tag team division so good where SCU, which I don't think has gotten over the way they thought they were going to get over. I think Scorpio Sky has been booked in this weird angle with Sean Spears. We never know whether it's going to end, start again, whatever. And Kaz and SC and Daniels has sort of been job guys, sort of been enhancement guys. So it's kind of, I think that sort of turned the tide from, it's funny to think, Kaz and Scorpio Sky were the first ever tag team champions for AEW. And now one's not even on TV, and one is in the midst of breaking up with a third of the team.
You saying that SCU didn't get over like they think they thought they would. That's no more evident than their entrance to the ring with CD. Talking on the mic, trying to get the crowd involved, and the crowd's having none of it.
They were so good as heels. This is the worst town I've ever been in. But they got so over on BTE as faces that when they had to come in and be like, you know what this isn't, this isn't the worst town we've ever been in. You're just like, oh, like
Plus, they're in the same town every week, so
yeah. And Christopher Daniels just looks like a dad at a barbecue at this point.
yeah. I'm looking forward to a Kaz solo run. Just another reason the BTE is getting people over.
I think that's again needs to be what we praise Impact for is their backstage segments and their stories, right? That they show on TV. Sometimes AEW, I feel like they rest on their laurels a bit and they assume that the people who watch, assume the people who watch Dynamite also watch BTE. But here's the thing, like they almost had 1 million viewers 2 weeks ago. This week barely got over 800,000. So they lost over 100,000 viewers this week, which is almost 200,000 because you got to keep something to go on there because I think some people think that wrestling is all about the matches when I don't think I ever really cared about the matches much until I got older.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man.
So next up, we had Big Swole and Serena Deeb versus Diamante and Eva Lise.
I'm going to tell you, Phil, I zoned out during this match. I think I was checking my phone or something. I don't even know who won.
I'll be honest with you. It was Deeb and Swole defeating Diamante and Eva Lise, and Red Velvet came out. Oh, I'm sorry. So before this match, let's rewind it again. Before this match happened, a video vignette happened with Brandy and Cody Rhodes. And I thought to myself, please let this be storyline. They announced that there's a little baby nightmare on the way. So congratulations, I guess, to the Rhodes family. I hope it's a storyline where this Jade Cargill or whatever causes her to lose her baby, and it's tragic.
Don't you dare say that.
Yeah.
I hope this is real, and I believe it is real, and I hope Brandy is off our TV.
If Brandy, because here's the thing: before the matchup, she came clapping with Swole and D, but I'm just like, the fuck out of here! What are you doing? Like, Brandy Rhodes is still gonna. They just made this announcement she's having a baby and she's coming to our screens. Get out of here! Come on, just have this be at least a storyline where she loses the baby and Shaq's like, well, I'll give you some Papa John's as an apology and something like that.
One thing I will say, I will comment on that match. I believe JR is in love with Serena Deeb. The way he talks about her and how in shape she is and being into yoga and stuff.
Yeah.
JR, he's a dirty old man. I listen to his podcast.
This match, I mean, after the match, Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero come out and they attack, and then Red Velvet comes out with a chair. You're gonna see me talk about this later on with the Poddies. I guarantee you. So next up, we had a no disqualification world title eliminator match. Kenny Omega is not caring about the ranking system. His thing is he's going to beat you to eliminate you from ever getting a title shot against him as long as he's the champion. Brilliant gimmick series of matches that you don't have to see him challenge those in the rankings, and he can make his own matches where I'm too good of a champion for you guys unranked. It's awesome.
Whatever happened to the Joey Janela that main evented with John Moxley?
I think he felt, I think it's hard when it comes to certain wrestlers. I think because these guys, like Dynamite AEW is built up with all like the indie darlings. You know what I mean? The term indie darling, and by no means do I mean that as an insult, because we become fans of wrestlers on the indies, right? We like to see them Like, look at Anthony Bowens, the 5-tool player. We remember him dressing up as like that White Ranger gear at WrestlePro. Like, it's a nice way to like follow these guys, but some guys just don't get over on television. I think, Joey Janela has to be consistently in these no DQ matches. He has to be in these spots where you think he's gonna die. Like, I mean, he almost died a few years ago. He had a spring break, and it's just sort of, I don't think Joey Ryan was on Impact Wrestling, right, before the whole scandal, which why he's off television. But his penis wrestler, the King of Dong style, we knew that was going to translate well onto television. It's why they changed his gimmick right away on Impact, and they had a good storyline where he was sort of that new right to censor, something a gimmick that could get over. We see with SCU. We're seeing guys who the Young Bucks saw as good indie talent get a chance to shine, and we're seeing that sometimes those gimmicks just don't work. And I think, unfortunately, Joey Janela he hasn't gotten himself in shape. I don't know why he hasn't. We're seeing the same thing with Kip Sabian and Miro to an extent. We're seeing them sort of force these storylines on us, and they're just not taking it. I think Joey Janela has fallen in the SCU camp of what worked on the indies isn't translating to television right now.
Yeah, it's a shame. I don't think there was anyone that had as much hype around them when AEW was announcing who they were signing than Joey Janela. He had made such a name for himself, especially in the Northeast. But it just hasn't. After that big match with Moxley on the pay-per-view, it just hasn't translated to success for him.
You know what I think was a real indicator of it? Remember before Dynamite happened, their first AEW show when Jericho won the championship was a triple threat match. It was Jimmy Havoc versus Joey Janela versus Darby Allin. And this is where we all first got our taste of, whoa, this Darby guy's cool. He is doing sensible dives. He's doing things that make sense. He brings a skateboard into it because he's a skateboarder, something you can relate to. Why he's a daredevil. Like for all the stupid stuff that they've shown Darby Allin do and on Dynamite, at least he's consistent and he builds up a fan base and he changes week to week. He does video vignettes, which are weird but interesting. I love the always he has the faces of his opponents with the eyes cut out. Gives a mask. It's something that you can say, whoa, let me bring in to this and let me watch his match. Joey Janela he's trying to play and it's tough in COVID when you have no audience, when you can't get the this is awesome, holy shit chance. You gotta do it based on storyline and in mat wrestling. And he doesn't do either. And that's why I think he's fallen to the wayside.
Yeah. What would you do to is there any way we could resurrect Joey Janela's career?
You know what? As sad as it is, he's so out of shape right now. About a month ago when he wrestled Cody for the TNT Championship, he couldn't get over the stairs, and so much to the point where Cody looked like he had to shoot elbow him in the ribs to be like, knock it off. You're not doing it. It's killing our match. Like, Cody really, and then Omega on this match, like he was helping Janela on his spots, and you could just tell he's not keeping up with the top guys. Unfortunately he's turning into maybe Raven at this point. Like when Raven was on the downturn of his career. It's unfortunate. Like, remember that WrestleMania with him versus Kane versus Big Show, and they had the little go-karts, and that was sort of like ever since that Raven was sort of used as a job guy. It just for lack of a better comparison, it just seems like he's the hardcore guy that doesn't win matches.
Yeah, I mean, at least he still has his GCW stuff and spring break where he where he has something.
I think the real life split between him and Penelope Ford I called her your girl for the very early on episodes of the Pod Gods when we didn't have our fancy banner or live streams.
Yeah.
I think him losing Penelope Ford sort of maybe even lost his mojo.
Lost his smile, man. Penelope Ford will do that to you, man. I can't fault him.
So the match ends with Omega defeating Joey Janela. In the middle of it, Callis Eddie popping me here with what about Raven? But like, what did you think of Callis and Omega on live commentary during the match?
Oh, it was great that Kenny was calling his own match, but at the same time, just a further burial of Joey Janela.
It's gotten to a point where I think Omega has already elevated himself to the point where you need to start building up these tiny feuds for him a little bit. I think that's why at the end having Death Triangle appear, I think it will have some chicanery at the end of it. I think you will see Butcher and the Blade and Eddie Kingston and Lance Archer come out. But they talk about how Ray Phoenix competed in the world title eliminator tournament before, but he won, but he got hurt and he couldn't continue it. So now they're revealing that on December 30th, it will be, as per Tony Khan's rule, Omega will defend the title against Ray Phoenix.
So the next 2 weeks, well, tonight and next week are just best of Impact Wrestling. Good Brothers need to make an appearance on AEW and help out Kenny with the Death Triangle.
I didn't even think of that. They totally should.
Yeah. I mean, if we're going to have Kenny appearing on Impact, I would love to see the Good Brothers appear on Dynamite.
Yeah, we're in an interesting world we're living in right now. I'm not going to be able to watch the show live tomorrow. Going to my girlfriend's family on Wednesday for Christmas Eve, and then coming back to my parents' place for Christmas Day. So I looked at the spoilers because it's already been taped. Because the show may not even start past 10 o'clock because of the return of basketball on TNT. Damn that basketball!
So now, you know what? Don't spoil it for me.
No, I will say this. The WWE shows where they sort of phoned it in on the holiday episodes.
Right.
It feels very much like that, but with a cool main event.
Yeah. All right. So that was it for AEW, right?
Yep, that was it.
It is time for the first annual, very prestigious Poddies. This is the award for excellence in professional wrestling.
These particular winners did not flush their opportunity down the Poddy, so they all deserve their shout outs this night.
All right, Phil. So for the first, I just want to say I did extensive research on this. Calculating from January all the way till now. Pretty much analyzing everything when I thought of these awards. Our first category is best wrestlers or wrestlers YouTube channel of the year. Phil, would you like to go first?
I went with the chalk. I went with Being the Elite because, as we say, Ethan Page's video vlog was originally on there, but I think of all the characters they've gotten over. John Silver, the Dark Order, right? Sue, Trent's mom, even got over. Eddie Kingston cutting promos, Frankie Kazarian getting a T-shirt based off of it. Like it continues to be high quality and sometimes better than actually Dynamite on Wednesdays.
So I'm actually going to have to agree with you. Originally, Ethan Page's vlog was the winner, but this latest episode of Being the Elite, the Dark Order singing Christmas carols, them winning over Hangman Page, Kaz being visited by the three Christmas ghosts. This all, even something as silly as Orange Cassidy feeding Chris Statlander grapes. It just all won me over, and I especially love how Colt Cabana went from having the worst segment on Being the Elite. That's the thing about Being the Elite. They realize when something isn't working and they cut it out. And they just said, hey, Colt's already in the Dark Order. Let's just put him in these awesome segments. I mean, this week he was the Dark Order's expert on Christmas, and he's Jewish.
What's caroling?
It's unanimous. Being the Elite is the best wrestling YouTube show of the year. Congratulations. If Johnny Silver were here, I would let him accept the award on Being the Elite's behalf.
You know, I would have to think. I would give it to, I don't know who would accept it, but Johnny Silver's accepting, I think, something else late. You know what? Yeah, he can. He's going to accept it. Yeah, John Silver can accept it.
Okay. Next up, we have still in the media section of our award ceremony, the Wrestlers Podcast of the Year. Since you went first last time, I'll go first this time. Mm-hmm. I'm going with the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast. This is must listen to podcast for me every week, twice a week actually, because I don't know if you listen, Phil, but they have their fantasy Fig Federation, where they drafted the Jack's Bone Crunchers and the Toy Biz WCW wrestlers and built their own wrestling federations. And every week they book a TV show using the wrestlers that they drafted. Henry O. Godwin is a main eventer with feuding with Hollywood Hulk Hogan in Matt Cardona's federation. So it's just crazy stuff.
That was up there because I haven't started watching it. I mean, listening to it yet. So I know I'm way behind, but I see the Stomp in Paradise. I see so much like fun stuff from it, but I'm going to go with something that I've been listening to for years. And it's amazing that I take the time to listen to a podcast. I used to listen to it while at work or listen to it on my drive to and from work. But I'm talking about my favorite Talk is Jericho. Any podcast that can make QT Marshall a face is a podcast you should listen to. Jericho and I, we both had the same favorite band. We both love Kiss. He just had a live watch along on the 36th anniversary of Animalize, which is very underrated when it comes to Kiss's discography. We learned a little bit about the coming together of the inner circle. He does things that talk about like the Illuminati. He brought on Eddie Kingston. It's a mix of fun, history, paranormal. It's my favorite thing to listen to when I'm down. So
good choice. I listen to Talk is Jericho every week. I love that he loves hair metal just as much as I do. So, I love when he has bands like Striper or Trickster, Firehouse on. So, not a bad choice. Next up, Wrestling Figure of the Year. You just got back into the wrestling figure game.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite?
I do, and I don't even own it. I've been on the back order list for this since August. It's the little bit of the bubbly playset. I've been on back ordered for this set on Ringside Collectibles since August. So what? Almost 6 months now. September, October, November, December. Yeah, for 4 months now. I've been trying to get this damn thing, and I can't get it. It keeps saying, "Oh, it's been delayed. It's been delayed," because the demand is so much for it that they have to keep making it. And they can only make certain runs for it. So if I can't get it, I would love to get it, my hands on it. So I'm still waiting.
Excellent choice. So for me, it came down to two figures. I'm going to tell you the one that didn't get it is the Edge and Edgeheads 3-in-1 figure. This was a Ringside Collectibles exclusive. It was Edge during his La Familia run, and it came with a Zack Ryder head and a Kurt Hawkins head, interchangeable, so you can make it any of the three. But that isn't my winner because my all-time favorite wrestler, Roddy Piper, had a 2-pack released of a figure that I've been dying to have. It's Roddy Piper, Mr. T, from their boxing match at WrestleMania. Comes with boxing gloves, comes with both of their ring robes. This set is absolutely fantastic. That's my winner of the year.
Fantastic.
Next up, we have biggest disappointment of the year.
The low light categories of the Poddies.
Yes. So I will go first. No surprise here. This is AEW's handling of Matt Cardona. I don't know if I've ever been more disappointed. I went from a high, so excited for him. I was like, this is his opportunity. And then he gets paired up with QT Marshall and a bunch of guys against the Dark Order. And he's gone in 5 weeks. Terrible miscarriage of justice. I'm just waiting for him to pop up on Impact Wrestling.
It's funny. I thought you were going to take something else from me. Originally, I thought, you know what, this has to be the X Division.
No.
I thought the X Division, but mine also comes from AEW, and it comes in the form of AEW's Women's Division. It is so bad. We tune out when it comes on. Primetime didn't even know who won the match last week. Britt Baker is the only highlight. Her feud with Thunder Rosa is what we're been asking for, but it's not going to happen until 2021. They don't know what's going on. Who was the first one, little small girl for the first women's champion? I can't remember her name.
It was the little girl that Kenny Omega wrestled, right?
Yeah, right. And then Nyla took it, and the belt is ugly as sin. It's way too small for them. Sheeta hardly defends it, hardly speaks. Nobody cares for it. Vicky Guerrero's teamed up with Nyla Rose for some reason. Big Swole beat Britt Baker in the dentist match only for Big Swole to disappear. Red Velvet is like Brandy Rhodes' like protege when Brandy Rhodes shouldn't be protege in anybody.
She needs to get over first.
It's just awful stuff.
Yeah. Which takes us to our least favorite wrestler of the year. You just named a bunch of people you could nominate.
But do I go first or you first?
You go first.
Okay. So this comes to a man we say every week. Why is he on my television? QT Marshall. What the hell is he doing in the Nightmare Family? He brings poor Dustin Rhodes down. Since the Natural Nightmares have been split up, essentially, Dustin's been doing great work, hitting sunset flips, Canadian destroyers. Like, this is what we want. We don't want QT Marshall.
Yeah, so it's unanimous. The second time, the unanimous award goes to QT Marshall. And I'm going to put an asterisk there. QT, I like you as a person. I enjoyed your Talk is Jericho episode, and it was the biggest swerve of the year when I announced to Phil, I like QT Marshall, the person. So, and I will say this, QT Marshall, your bunkhouse match, I thought was excellent.
It felt like I'm Macho Man in the ring, needing some help. Hogan comes down with a chair and whacks me with it.
All right. Next up, comeback wrestler of the year. I go first. We may agree on this again, but it can only go to one person. Someone who's been in the industry for 30 years. He was in the original ECW. He's a big star now, maybe the biggest in Impact. It's the Swingman, Johnny Swinger.
Guest on the show earlier.
Yeah. You bring him back. Let him accept his award.
For lay pod gods.
He called me Mizark. I love it.
Mizark Primetime Poulton. It was the best. It's no secret here. I had a few people in here. I thought about Edge, but Edge unfortunately broke his wrist. Couldn't come back from that Royal Rumble hype. I thought about Brody Lee, comeback wrestler, fighting as Luke Harper earlier in the year, getting cut, being the exalted one. His Mr. Brody promos were awesome, but it can only come for one man, the Swingman, who has turned his whole wrestling career around in some of the funniest, best parts of Impact Wrestling. It'd only go to Johnny Swinger.
Yeah, hats off to Johnny Swinger, still entertaining us in the year 2020. The man is in phenomenal shape, and the most entertaining he's ever been. Back in the 90s when I was watching the Swingman on WCW Saturday night, watching him on ECW, never in a million years I would say, oh, this guy is super entertaining. He's found himself 30 years later. It's amazing.
And I love that he plays it. He plays it like he's a wrestler from over 30 years ago. It's so good.
Next up, breakout star of the year. Go for it, Phil.
I almost made Johnny Swinger a two-time Lapati, but I went with someone who I had not known, had not seen before, didn't even know what he was about. To end up looking at YouTube clips and watching little mini documentaries on him, I gave it to Orange Cassidy, a guy who had known nothing about, just showed up during a best friends match, got over, hands in his pockets. I said, this guy's a riot. To actually beating Jericho 2 out of 3 times, having his own match, a Mimosa Mayhem match. He's so over on BTE, on television. People dress up as him. Kids were dressing up as him. I don't think it should go to anybody except Orange Cassidy.
No, that's an absolutely a great choice, but it's not the choice I went with. I went with John Silver. This guy has come out of nowhere. I knew about him because I go to WrestlePro and I've seen him wrestle before. And when him and Alex Reynolds got a shot on AEW as the Beaver Boys, I was excited for them. I didn't see it going anywhere, and then they got put in the Dark Order, and they had the masks. They don't even wear the masks anymore because they got so over on being the elite, with John Silver being the breakout guy. So he gets my nomination.
Talk about guys who were known as 3 and 4 earlier to now being called by their legit names and having them being, oh, that's number 3, Johnny Silver. That's number 4, Alex Reynolds. Like, good stuff from him.
Yeah, and shout out to Alex Reynolds, who's showing a lot of personality now. He saw how it worked for Silver.
I'm going to shout out Alex Reynolds in the fact that I remember I was at a House of Hardcore in Philly, and it was him, and it was Tony Nese's last independent show before he went on the Cruiserweight thing and signed his deal with WWE. He was a tag team with Alex Reynolds, and he turned on him. And my brother thought it was hilarious. He was rooting for Alex Reynolds on that show there. So it's cool to see, like, we've seen these guys from different promotions be like the Beaver Boys and become local talent to standouts for the Dark Order.
Yeah. Next up, faction of the year. You went first last time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. So if you know me, clearly you're going to think I'm going to go with Dark Order. I'm going to pull another swerve. I'm not going with Dark Order. I'm actually going with the Hurt Business. MVP has done miracles resurrecting the career of Bobby Lashley, who prior to the Hurt Business, he was in love with Lana. Done miracles with Shelton Benjamin, who wasn't even on TV prior to the Hurt Business. Now he's Raw Tag Team Champions. Cedric Alexander, who was a jobber, and now he's Tag Team Champion. MVP, if you told me he could walk on water, I would believe it, because this man is a miracle maker. The Hurt Business is, and here's the thing, they're legit. I believe everything they do. When the biggest mistake WWE ever did with Retribution is put them in the ring with Hurt Business, because I was like, no way this new faction that they invested all this time in could whoop the Hurt Business. And even WWE realized it, and they jobbed them out real quickly.
You know, Retribution was on there was on there for my list of biggest disappointments, because it just was so absurd. And you're taking they're the
best faction on Twitter.
Yeah, you're talking about Dominic Dijakovic, whose last name is Dijak and could have been awesome. He's T-Bar. So whatever. All right. So for my faction of the year, I'm going to go based off of the majority of the year, and I went with Inner Circle. I went with the Stadium Stampede match, Sammy Guevara's little interactions with Matt Hardy, Jericho trying to reclaim like his stardom and blaming Orange Cassidy, getting dumped. The whole Inner Circle got the orange juice dumped on him. Santana slipping and sliding. And speaking of Santana and Ortiz, they had that awesome backstage brawl, the outdoors in the garage in the parking lot. Like, just them as a faction have really started to sum up together. As we talked about, we didn't see them when they first started as being anything. Like, this is weird that these guys are on there, but the tracksuits, the Mike Tyson, the jerseys, the MJF trying to join in with them, it just became, they knew who they were and they're owning it. And maybe they won't even be together in 2021, but for now, that award goes to my favorite, the Inner Circle. So Jericho is cleaning up 3 times so far, and I didn't even intend it to be that way. The Dark Order was up there for a moment, but with Brody being gone for so long and just not being on that much, and them losing a lot of matches, and Stu Grayson and Evil Uno not wrestling as much, I just felt like the Inner Circle sort of took that, especially with the Stadium Stampede match. That was amazing.
Excellent choice. Next up, storyline of the year.
I went with something that entertained me greatly. Who Shot Johnny Bravo is my storyline of the year. It was, my first couple things were all Impact Wrestling ones. It was the Eric Young, Eddie Edwards storyline. It was Rich Swann versus Eric Young, right? It was Wrestle House, but ultimately nothing made me enjoy as much as Police Detective Tommy Dreamer, Judge D'Lo Brown, swing man with carrying a Glock in there. The Deaners sort of getting over it at this point, making their change. Larry D is fighting for his life, trying not to go to jail. Like, it just created so many feuds that I just love the Who Shot Johnny Bravo storyline.
Oh yeah, there's so many moving parts in that storyline. Everyone was involved in it. It was so great. I actually went with the Kenny Omega Hangman Page storyline. I love long form storylines, and this was almost like a year of will they or won't they turn on each other. And I just thought it was so well done. And I don't think this story is even over yet. Hangman could be the one who, Kenny Omega is on this big ego trip. It could be Hangman, the one that knocks him down a notch.
I almost put title collector, the collector, Kenny Omega, but I'm saving. I think that's just going to be so huge in 2021. We're just getting our first little taste of it. Like, it's so good,
Yeah.
but this is another long form storyline that we're really going to get the payoff in 2021.
All right, we're getting down to the final awards. Match of the year. I went with Kenny Omega and Hangman Page versus the Young Bucks. Maybe the greatest tag team match ever. This match was awesome. Kenny and Hangman were two guys just thrown together, and they turned out to be the greatest tag team. One of the greatest tag teams ever. It's the tag team we didn't know we wanted, and they were fantastic together. And this match with the Young Bucks was off the charts.
Yeah, same thing. AEW Revolution 2020, the greatest tag team match I've ever witnessed, possibly the greatest tag team match of all time. The storyline, the Bucks being heels, the right heel turn for the Bucks for a moment. Hangman drinking the beers, getting over with the fans, the crowd. It had everything to it. It was just so, as you said, the tag team we didn't know we wanted, but we needed. Possibly the best tag team of the year. It was just by far and away the best match I've seen in possibly 20 years, since the last man standing match between Jericho and Triple H.
So we agree, man. It's hard not to. This match was so head and shoulders above anything else I watched all year. Just amazing match. All right. That brings us to Tag Team of the Year. Phil, we just talked about Hangman and Omega. Are they your winners?
I had Hangman and Omega. I had the Young Bucks. I had the Motor City Machine Guns. But I'm going to swerve you. Maybe it's because they're on my fantasy team, Little Pod Gods fantasy teams. Or maybe it's because they're the first NXT real characters to survive the main roster and actually flourish. And that's Ford and Dawkins, the Street Profits. They, to me, are so entertaining. They threw them on commentary one time, and it was hilarious. I just think those guys, they work so well with the crowd going through there. They know they're one of the few talents that got it right away. They knew the fans aren't here, so I'm playing to the hard cam 100% of the time, getting you involved. The Street Profits are just so good. They work so well. And it's one of the few things in WWE that I honestly love watching on my screen. I love the Street Profits, and one of the longest reigning champions in a while. There's nobody in the WWE who can compete with them because they are just so head and shoulders above them.
Street Profits, great choice. They kill me every week in our fantasy league. I've grown to hate them because of it. So I can see you picking them. For me, it came down to three teams. The Good Brothers, who they got released. They main evented WrestleMania with Uncle Allen, and then get released. They go to Impact. They become the biggest stars on Impact. They start their own promotion. They main event 2 pay-per-views of their own, talking shop, a Mania. They win the Impact Gold, but it's not them. It could have been the North. They were tag team champions most of the year. This is the Ethan Page Love Fest. This show was built on us watching Slammiversary and both of us agreeing that Ethan Page was the best thing on it. They were a dominant team, but it's not them. It's the two guys that showed up as a surprise on Slammiversary, and instantly you and I both knew these guys still had it, were head and shoulders above everyone else. It's the Motor City Machine Guns. I am convinced they are the best tag team in all of wrestling, and they prove it every time they get into the ring together.
Their theme song is so good. Motor City, like, you just know, like, it's time to get hype.
Yeah.
They are. Alex Shelley is the real deal. Chris Sabin is so good in the ring. Like, I just love when he's in the ring. And then when he makes a hot tag to Alex Shelley, you're like, shit, I forgot how good Alex Shelley was. They were number 2. They were just
Yeah.
a little short, but I guess because I've been watching the Street Profits longer throughout the year, but man, the guns are just so good.
And maybe possibly the 2 coolest guys after main event in primetime.
Of course, they would get our official stamp right on there.
They could be our proteges.
We're like Brandy Rhodes to their Red Velvet.
So that brings us to female wrestler of the year. I will go first. I went with Thunder Rosa. She's not even AEW talent, but is head and shoulders above everyone on AEW. She's the only one who's presented as like a superstar. When she was NWA champion, the NWA Women's Championship was more prestigious than the AEW Women's Championship. She's just a star. I love this feud with Britt Baker. I think Britt needs it too. Actually, like this past week, Britt and Rebel attacking Thunder Rosa, washing the makeup on her face. I thought that was great. But yeah, Thunder Rosa superstar, and as far as I'm concerned, the best female in wrestling right now.
Yeah, I agree. I almost put Thunder Rosa up there, but I'm gonna say someone who I just think I never got into her hype up until this year because she has really made a star of it during COVID. Asuka, when her being tag team champions with Kairi Sane and her being this angry Japanese woman who thinks people understand her on commentary was amazing. Her turning face with Kairi Sane being attacked, her upping her face game when she won Money in the Bank and having to take the belt from Becky Lynch, who was basically was the WWE in all of 2019. She's tag team champions with Charlotte right now. She's Raw Women's Champion. I think she, at a time where women's wrestling seems to be almost in flux since the new 4 horsewomen, right? Like it seems like Asuka has constantly been the one constant. I'm happy for her.
Yeah, and I'll say Asuka had the reaction of the year when she found out Becky Lynch was pregnant. That's like one of the feel good moments in wrestling of the year. That was like a genuine moment. You couldn't help but smile when you saw that. So the final Lapati is for the male wrestler of the year. Phil, who does the award go to?
This is going to be almost a shocker. If you've watched the show, you will know how much I hate Jon Moxley. And I trash him. I say his title runs are boring. He brought the prestige of the championship down because he's never on TV all the time. He goes. And that's why Jon Moxley is not my wrestler of the year. Damn you, Jon Moxley. The wrestler of the year is someone who introduced the belt, made it worth watching every week. It, to me, is even more prestigious until Kenny Omega took those rights back. My wrestler of the year is Cody Rhodes. He's been dynamite in the ring, dynamite on the mic, dynamite in storytelling. Him introducing the fans, saying on that TNT episode when he said, listen, it's COVID. It sucks without you fans, but we need to keep going. And one day we'll see you back in here. But for now, we're going to put the best damn television product that we can on you as we go through these times. Cody Rhodes has made the TNT championship so valuable. Like, you want to see it defended, and you can just tell Darby's not there yet. He does not have that, that cachet that Cody has. And honestly, Cody's just been awesome. So I'm giving it to Cody.
Wow, I didn't see that one coming. That's a big surprise to me. So for my choice, I thought long and hard about this. And I had to think back all the way to January. And my first thought was Drew McIntyre. He eliminates Brock Lesnar from the Royal Rumble. Great moment. He unfortunately gets dealt a bad hand, and he main events a WrestleMania that's in front of no one, but he defeats Brock Lesnar clean. And he's continued to win. He lost the belt to Randy Orton, but wins it back quickly. But I couldn't give it to him because there's a guy who he didn't wrestle all year, but he was so dominant once he returned. And I have to go with the big dog, the tribal chief, the man who sits at the head of the table, Roman Reigns. This guy is unstoppable. We were demanding heel Roman Reigns for years, and WWE finally gives it to us, but they give it to us better than we ever expected. So I will tip my hat to him for that. I didn't expect the tribal chief to be so good and to be so dominant. Roman Reigns, man, his matches with his cousin were some of the best matches of the year. And you just and his acting when with him he was in tears after his one match with Jey Uso when Jimmy Uso was pleading with him, and then he just lays out Jimmy Uso too. He's the performer. He's not just the wrestler of the year. He's the performer of the year.
He's got to be in that Scorpion King remake.
Yeah, man. I would go see it opening day.
But no, I think if it's one, and where WWE has had their lowest ratings of all time just a week ago, Roman Reigns has been the only reason I feel like I'm still attached to WWE has been Roman Reigns. But I think Cody has just been, he's been Cody, man, and I'm not even a big Cody fan. He's won. That's how good he's been this year. He's legit won me over. He took that belt that was in the middle of being made, said this ain't the final product, but I'm still proud to be this inaugural champion. Like that, and then he came with the gold. I just was so happy with Cody.
I don't think Eddie agrees with me.
No, he's chanting Cody. No, if you check and see, Cody.
So that's the end of the first annual Poddies, man. I think it went fantastic. Hats off to all our winners, but especially the swing man, Johnny Swingers, who, Phil, you pulled off the gift of the year, man. You got the swing man to appear on Pod Gods. My Christmas is already made. I'm going to tell Chrissy and Chase, don't even try. Man, this was a great episode, and
I almost died.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you were just so excited to talk wrestling. You forgot to swallow, man.
I was like, stinging your battle. Thank you for covering me too. Reading the chat, bullshitting along. What can we say? It would not be the Pod Gods if something crazy did not happen.
And special thanks to the third man, Eddie Winkler, for hanging out with us all episode. If you're out there watching, go check out Eddie's project, Sovereign Wolf, on Indiegogo. It's absolutely fantastic, man. It looks amazing. I backed first day. I can't wait to get it. But Eddie, thanks for joining us. Phil, where can people find you at?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at AnimatedPhil. I'm going to be posting some artwork. Haven't done it in a while, but I did something for Primetime that I sent to him. It's all colored, and if you need the bigger file, let me know. But I'll be posting some previews of that. I've been doing some sketching this holiday season, so it's nice to start sharing that a bit online.
And you can catch me on Twitter and Instagram at Coney Waves. Make sure you subscribe to Primetime Poulton and go sign up for the U.S. Assassin 3 graphic novel over on Indiegogo. We're going to be launching in spring 2021. It's U.S. Assassin against their greatest threat, Graveyard Shift, with the first appearance of the Mercenary, Flip Gordon, who's going to become a regular character in the book. He's going to become the Sergeant Slaughter to U.S. Assassin's G.I. Joe. I'm super excited about it. Anyway, guys, Phil and I, we want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. Thanks for hanging out with us all year, I guess, since like May? We've been doing
Yeah, been awesome. We broke quarantine first.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Merry Christmas, and we will see you guys next week. Bye.